Hi, welcome. My name's Nathan Letourneau. I'm excited to show you the Mitel Contact Center solution. Let's start with some real-time. The real-time productivity tool is called the Contact Center Client. It's the same utility, whether it's a supervisor, agent, upper management, it doesn't matter the type of user. It's a really flexible tool and very customizable. We'll start with a supervisor display. What we have on the screen right now is an example of a basic supervisor display that allows the supervisor to measure effectively what's going on now. And that's critical in a contact center environment. We have a lot of things going on here. I'm just going to maximize the queue display. This is one of the things built into this real-time profile. And what this is showing us is real-time statistics against each of the ACD queues. Things like calls waiting right now. What's the longest call waiting right now? How many agents are available? How many calls have been offered and answered so far today? How many calls have been abandoned? Information like time to handle, average time to abandon, service level percent. You have the ability within the software database to set a service level goal against each queue so that you can measure against that goal in real time and in the reporting that we'll look at later. What's key here is you can also drill down into the queue to see the additional agent groups that are a part of that queue and what they're doing. Because with the Mitel phone system, you can have up to 4 agent groups per queue. They're acting as backup. So the primary agent group are the agents best trained to handle those types of calls. So we're going to route calls to them automatically first. But if they're not available, after a certain amount of time, we're going to then pull in an additional resource group, an additional overflow group we call it, and you have visibility into those overflow groups right from this real-time display. So we can see here we've got 2 agent groups a part of this queue. We can drill down even further, just like exploring in Windows, to see the agents that are a part of that agent group and what they're doing and what they've done so far today. So we can see information like when did they log on, when did they log off, what's their shift time, how many ACD calls have they taken, all the information about the agents specific to that day and what's going on now. Alerting and alarming can also be built into these real-time profiles, whether it's for a supervisor or for an agent. Let me just right-click on this display. I'm going to go ahead and set some alarms. And you can set alarms on a bunch of different performance variables. Here we've got a list: calls waiting, longest waiting, service level, ACD time. I'm going to give you an example of an alert that we set against calls waiting. You can simply add a threshold. If there's 1 or more calls waiting, we want to do something. We want to notify that supervisor so they can take action and do something immediately. So the types of alarms are color alarms, like I can change the background color if there's more than 1 calls waiting to red. I can also play a sound through the speakers in the sound card of that supervisor's PC. I can do a pop-up. So whatever I write in this pop-up here and customize, that's going to scroll up over my system tray and tell me, hey, there's calls waiting. So I'm just going to go ahead and type something in here, calls waiting in CS queue. So if we're lucky enough, as we're going through this, if there's a call that's offered to the customer service queue and there's a call waiting, we'll see that alert pop up. You can also do things like send an email to someone when that threshold is breached. So not only can managers see what's going on with the queues and be alerted on those, we can also see what's going on with our agents. Up here we have 2 displays that are showing us the sales group and the support group respectively. Let's just look at the sales group and drill down here. This is showing us the different states. It columnizes the different ACD states for you. So there's a different icon depending on what state that agent's in. Everyone in this second column here is idle. They're waiting for calls. There happens to be nobody there right now. This is just all running in simulation mode, so we'll sort of see people jumping back and forth as we go along. This 4th column is unavailable. We can see down here that Jason's on a coffee break and Anthony's on a coffee break and this sales agent number 1's on a coffee break. So me as a manager, I'm going to use some interactive controls. I'm going to right-click on that sales agent and I'm going to go ahead and control their status. So under agent control, I can do things like log them in, log them off. I can join or leave agent groups. So if they're a part of multiple agent groups with that 1 agent ID, I can actually remove them from a subset of agent groups so that they're dedicated perhaps to just one for a certain period of time. I can set them to make busy, remove them from make busy, and do some other functions. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and remove Anthony, or this sales agent, from make busy. Now we can see that he's moved over to the idle state. So all this is critical. We're getting a real-time view into what the agents are doing, as we saw earlier, what's going on with our queues. And that's allowing the supervisors to do something that's really important, measure what's happening immediately and take action and do something. Just like we set alarms with our queue display, we can set alarms within any of these other displays here. Some other interactive functions that we can do is we can actually see calls that are waiting in queue. So I'm going to put the sales agent back in Make Busy. Let's put him on a coffee break. And I'm going to go ahead and send a call into the sales queue. So I'm going to dial that path dialable number. We can see that in this interactive visual queue display, we've got a call waiting. We've also got an alarm that's happened. Here's our little pop-up window that says calls waiting in the customer service queue. We can also see here that there's one call waiting and it's turned red. So things that I can do with this as a supervisor, knowing that there's somebody important waiting in queue, and I can set alarms against the specific caller number and the specific caller name as well. I could take this call and I can drag it over here to the support queue, okay, if I wanted. It's actually ringing the phone right now, and I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. So I saw that there was a call waiting in the sales queue. There's nobody available in that queue, but there is somebody available in the support queue. So I'm just going to interactively drag and drop that call from the sales queue to the support queue, and now I've got somebody taking that call. We got to that customer quicker. There's also an integrated chat, just a basic instant message that's just a toolbar at the top of the display that can be built in, and I can go ahead and chat to any of my agents that are online and present. This is a great coaching tool. So if I'm silent monitoring, listening into an agent, I can send them little messages like, don't forget to ask for this, don't forget to ask for that, right? Please come and see me when you're done. I'm going to put you in Make Busy right now. Let's transition to an agent experience. What we're looking at here is a scaled down version of the same contact center client utility we just looked at for a supervisor. We've got a marquee built into this showing some real-time statistics. You can see here that we've got calls waiting, ACD calls answered so far today. We've got information like service level, all the critical stats that we need that agent to see. And this, again, can be totally customized to suit that user's needs, so it doesn't have to exactly look like this. What else we have built into this is what's called a phone set manager. This toolbar here is actually providing call control, so we can actually control one of these hard phone sets right from our real-time display. We can also do agent actions and control our agent status. So as an agent, I can go ahead and log myself on right from this real-time utility. I can log myself off, set myself Make Busy for whatever reason, and remove myself from Make Busy. Let's transition into the reporting now. We've already looked at how to measure what's happening now with the real-time utility, the contact center client. Whether you're a supervisor or an agent, upper management, we can gain an understanding of what's happening now. Now, reporting is going to allow us to measure what's happened in the past. All reports are housed in a familiar Internet Explorer web page, and they're accessed from this reporter option from the main menu. Here's where, under this voice section, we're going to find all of our voice ACD reports on our agents, on our queues. There's over 150 of these, and they're all rendered in Microsoft Excel. Over and above those, there's multimedia reports, email, web chat, fax, SMS. There's Visual Workflow Manager or Intelligent Queue type reports, workforce scheduling reports. These are all canned reports that are accessible as additional modules that can be layered into your solution. Out of the box, you're going to have access to these lifecycle reports. Over and above the canned voice reports, these are advanced reports that are cradle to grave reports. They're going to show you everything that's happened from the moment that call entered the phone system and hit your MiTel call director to the moment that call was done, no matter how many times that call was transferred within. So it'll show you literally a cradle to grave or a life cycle of that call. You'll also have access to what's called flexible reporting. This is a custom reporting tool that allows you to design your own reports, either starting with one of the canned reports or starting from scratch. And then you can save that report so that it lives on and you can run it from here moving forward. Any of these types of reports you can attach to an automated schedule that just allows you to run the reports like clockwork, day in, day out, have them emailed to people when they need them. The report inbox is where your reports are going to be stored when you run these on demand or have them set up as a schedule. I've got a couple of the canned reports, a couple of the top 5 reports that I can show you. This agent group event by period report is a great daily report that's going to show you what the agents have done in the past. What did they do yesterday? Information like when did they log in? When did they log out? What was their shift time? How much time did they spend talking on calls? What was their wrap-up time? Notice that the report's rendered in Microsoft Excel right out of the box, and we provide you with a data sheet and a chart sheet if you happen to like charts. Let's look at a queue report. One of the top queue reports, we call it queue performance by period. This is going to show us information, in this case by period, 60-minute intervals, And it's going to show us information like calls offered. How many calls actually made it into our queue? How many of those did we answer? How many calls were abandoned? This is critical information for managers to make decisions about their resources, their staffing. When should maybe we have breaks and lunches scheduled? We also see critical information like average speed of answer, average delay to abandon, and then our percentages. Abandoned percent, service level percent. Again, you can set a service level goal within the software database against each queue, and then you measure against that goal within these reports. So we've really just scratched the surface of the entire Mitel Contact Center Solutions portfolio. We've looked at some real-time, we've looked at some reporting, there's forecasting available, there's full-on workforce scheduling, multimedia blending, all the interactive functions that supervisors and agents can do, and all the CTI integrations that we can do. So that's it for now. Stay tuned, there's also a lot of things coming down the pipe that we're excited to show you. Thanks.